One of the ideas that sort of threads through the course is an idea about journeys. Not just the fact that our lives themselves and the stories of our lives can be compared to journeys, but also the project itself is a journey which brings very different people together in the same space to learn about each other's lives.
We were really glad that we got to work with Shirin. We felt that we really connected with the way that she thinks and the way that she tells stories. In the end, what we came up with was abstract and creative and quite surreal, but it also tells a really important story about the idea of not belonging and the struggle for knowledge and the comfort and escapism of fiction. This became known to us as Shirin's Portable World.
Our discussions with Shirin opened our eyes to a lot of things that as uni students we don't really think about. In particular, being able to have books isn't always as easy as you think. Shirin told us one story in particular where about having uncensored literature in Iran, and it's sold once a year at this big book market, and you queue for hours and you pay a lot of money. And she kind of found it shocking to then come to England and see these books on sale for 50p in Oxfam. But we just hope that this film represents both ours and Shirin's experiences throughout the Storing Sheffield project.
And that it doesn't just tell Shirin's story, but it's something that we can all relate to and learn from.
Yeah, you know, it'd be really nice.
Each time when I think about the form of my story, I always end up with a mental image, a map with holes and blank areas here and there. The map of my life is full of digressions, interruptions and loss. I always revisit this post-traumatic land, sift through the rubbles and look for any fragments left of my life. Objects, people, photographs and home. Yes, home, which is my biggest loss. I cannot regain the things I've lost, but the irony is that the pain that haunts me also guides me in life. Knowledge of the suffering is the magic and the guide to recreate your story in a narrative room of your own. For me, the transformation of the pain into stories and poetry is the strategy of survival. The experience of loss is a shared map and a common language, a kind of passport that crosses all borders whether authorities like it or not. You'll be misled by the interrupted maps unless you create them in your imagination with empathy.
A complicated and painful pregnancy is a recurrent trope in my story. My arrival in Sheffield was accompanied with a dark period of depression which got worse with my pregnancy. Pregnant with a baby, with PhD, and with depression. Not being able to move, to run away. Western Bank Library was a place of refuge and a home. Living in exile is a kind of lifelong pregnancy. physical, mental, and even linguistic, when your mother tongue becomes a shadow in the background. My home is unorthodox. It has an incredible capacity for self-deception. Every day it rotates the balcony and zooms in the sky to frame the image of the uncaring cloud. How oblivious is my home, how easily lost.
Look at the map. From the river to the Gothic tower, my brother's abandoned grave, and Mr. Montgomery's, my childhood memories. The sky, the cloud, the pigeons, the star in the corner of Washington Road, the bus stop, yesterday, tomorrow, all spin around in a nostalgic excursion in Sharrow, like an amateurish montage in a foreign film.
Every day I see the forlorn life of a grey poster inside the lift stuck on the wall. Its exposure too dim to impress the other passengers, who pretend to be busy with keys and coffees, mirrors and mobile. My temporary destination is a desk with a view of the roundabout and a printer in the background, whose existence I sometimes suppress, until it reminds me of the time and place. And it rains and rains, outside the fraternity of phenomines and morphemes, and some unknown languages in the seminar room floor. They hardly notice me. The residents and visitors of this floor, they are busy and satisfied, but sometimes not sure, and I stare at the rain,
and think about the next poster. Will it have the same lifeless gesture? Should you come, friend, don't mind incongruity. Take your time, home has learned the lesson, it surrenders to the gravity.
I had when I was struggling to get a job, probably last summer, I did 3 weeks volunteering that might have probably like that was really good. But there was no one ever there, so I was like, I couldn't practice the full the fine to go away today. So then when I did pull one, there was good, you know.